all, one of the injuries that we see the most throughout both our trainings and our games. We tend to see more lateral ankle sprains, so sprains to the outside part of the ankle. More significant ankle injuries would be what's called a high ankle sprain or a syndesmosis injury. Sometimes they might require surgery. We saw this happen with Nick Blakey last year in one of our games against North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium.
That is classic syndesmosis.
From an overall standpoint, first things we want to do with our rehabilitation is to let the injury itself settle down. We might use some immobilisation for this, be it through a boot or bracing and taping. Following that, we like to try to get the ankle moving, try to get the swelling out of the ankle, try and settle the athlete's pain down, work on some early strength and range of motion. Next things, we're moving into proprioception and more power and plyometric based work. Once we get the athletes back into running, we tend to start with straight line running first of all, building up to sort of change of direction, and then into contact drills, modified training, and then back into full team training. From an immobilisation standpoint, some of the things that we're looking to do is to protect the ankle joint, but to also get the athlete walking as normally as possible. We tend to find that the Genesis walker is fantastic for this. It tends to promote normal gait, but also really protects the ankle ligament and the joint from any further damage. With regards to our early management, we tend to use a lot of ice and compression to assist with that. Ice and compression tend to limit swelling in the initial phase, but also any secondary damage to the ligament and other tissues around the ankle. But we also tend to find that it helps to remove swelling once it has settled in over a 24 to 48 hour period. So we tend to find that the Breg wave, ice and compression, helps us to both limit the initial inflammation but also the secondary inflammation, and allows our players to return to rehabilitation faster, both in their strength and range of motion exercises. Our early rehabilitation involves both strength and proprioception exercise. We tend to find that after an injury, both of these facets are decreased, so it's important we try to restore them as early as possible. The XL slider is fantastic for improving our proprioception, so we found that the XL slider is a great way of improving this in our athletes. It's easy to use, it's fantastic in terms of its ability to simulate what our players are going to be doing on the field, and we also find that it is transportable and our players can take it away with them when they need. So it's certainly a long and lengthy rehabilitation period sometimes, especially for someone like Nick Blakey, but once we've managed to get him back on the field through the use of our Genesis walker, Breg bowler care and also the XR sliders, we can see him with those fantastic overlapping handball runs from the back half that we love seeing the Lizard do.
Blakey finishes it off!